Is this the best wide-angle lens for content creators in 2025? Let's find out. My name is Andrew, and this is Parts in Tech, where we review some of the world's most popular electronics, tools, and appliances. Today, we're reviewing the Canon RF 16mm lens. We're gonna go over what it's good for, what it's not good for, some of the pros, and at the end, we'll review some of its flaws. First up, the build quality. The build quality of this lens, I would say, is good. It's not great. This is not gonna be one of the L-line lenses, as you can tell, but the build quality is good. Everything functions as it should. It is very smooth. It turns well, it works well. The build quality is fine. It does feel a little cheap and it does feel plasticky, but it's not intended to be the most expensive feeling or looking lens. And it looks great. You've got your Canon logo here, you've got your focal length right below that, you've also got your focus control on manual or automatic. So it looks great. It looks great to the eye and it feels good. It feels well built, but it does feel a little plasticky. It's not like one of the Canon L lenses, the L line. It's not exactly up to par with that, but it still feels great in the hand and on the camera. Now, this is one of Canon's RF lenses, so it's going to work on a lot of their mirrorless cameras. Please check and make sure with your specific model that it will work with your camera. This lens will work with your camera, but it's an RF lens. If your camera says EF, it's not gonna work on one of those cameras if it's an EF mount. This is an RF Canon camera mount. This lens here is a 16mm lens, which means there is no zoom ring at all. There is a focus ring that you can manually adjust focus, but there is no zoom ring, and there's no zooming capabilities at all on this lens. It is a fixed focal length lens at 16mm. It is an f2.8 lens, which means it is a lower f-stop lens. It gets a lot more blurry backgrounds, more bokeh in the background of your shot. It can also let a lot more light in, so it's a little bit better for the low light situations versus like a f5.6 or something like that. This lens would be great to be used for wide landscape photos or maybe even automotive photography, something where you need to get a lot in the shot. On the video side, this lens would be good for maybe a music video or landscape videography or maybe even architectural videography as well. This lens does have the STM autofocus motor, so the autofocus is very fast. The lens is also very compact and lightweight, which makes it great for travel. Again, it has an ultra wide angle view, which makes it great for landscape, vlogging, or even architectural photography and videography. This is a budget friendly lens. It's gonna be a lot more affordable than some of the other options out there. Those are a lot of the pros, a lot of the why you should buy this lens. Now let's talk about some of the cons and maybe some of the why you shouldn't buy this lens. This lens does feel cheaply made. It's not one of Canon's L lenses. It's not a very strong and sturdy lens that you can almost feel like you can throw around. It does feel like plastic, but it's built for a specific purpose. It is cheaply built, cheaply made, cheaply designed for somebody that might be on a budget. So if that is you, if you're looking to get this angle, this point of view, and you're on a budget, or maybe you don't use this angle very frequently, then I would definitely recommend this lens for you. It still gets a very high quality picture, and it still does a very good job at what it does, its job, but it's not going to be the best of the best of the best when it comes to this 16mm focal range. In terms of distortion, there's a little bit of distortion around the edges when you're taking a very wide angle photo of maybe some architecture or some buildings. You can see a little bit of curvature around the edges. Again, not a big deal if you're making a vlog with this, or maybe you want to edit that out in post. If you're on a budget, still a very good option. There is no image stabilization, so this lens does depend on the internal camera image stabilization, which for a lot of cameras is all that you need. The last con is that there is no zoom capabilities. So if you're okay with having to move around to get the right shot, then that's not a problem at all. So who is this lens for? It's for somebody who's on a budget looking for an ultra wide angle point of view, maybe a vlogger, maybe a landscape photographer, somebody that's on a budget but still wants to get a very good quality photo or video. This lens is not for somebody who wants the ultra high tier, state of the art, best of the best, crispest of the crisp, wants to spend the most amount of money with absolutely no budget. If that's you, I would not buy this lens. There's a lot of other great options. There's L options that Canon has. Those are gonna be more up your alley. This one here is going to be budget friendly. It gets the job done. It does a very, very good job at it. It's lightweight, easy to travel with, and all around a very, very good lens. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe.